Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Simon here from RunProfits Trading. Welcome to a quick markets update for the week. So let's get right into it, and we'll start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin had its halving last weekend. Since then, we've seen some fairly bullish price action. We actually started to sell off into the halving, but then we've actually come out and been able to push back up towards this 10,000 mark. Then we've come down again, and we're currently forming a bit of a cup and handle here formation on the daily. And I think we've got a good shot at breaking out through the 10,000 level. However, we're going to be facing this resistance line, which is currently coming in around about 10,400. We've got a resistance around the same sort of level from the previous high. So yeah, don't get me wrong, we're not out of the woods yet. This is very constructive. This is encouraging. The fact we've actually come back down and tested again this ascending trend line, and we've actually held it as support is definitely great news. And yeah, we are above all of the major MAs on the daily now. If we look at the weekly, we're above our 20-week MA, which is one I know a lot of people look at to tell whether we're bullish or bearish. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. I do think that over the sort of next year that we will come over this resistance, and we will challenge our all-time highs at the 20k level, and with a potential breakout sometime in 2021. So this is still my current prediction on the price. I'm fairly bullish here. I do think there is an opportunity, or there might be an opportunity, to buy at slightly lower prices. I don't know if we're ready for the big time just yet to go straight up and challenge. Markets are never going to move in straight lines, so you're always going to get dips, you're always going to get pullbacks, you're always going to get shakeouts, especially towards the start of a new bull run. So and certainly if there is a rejection from this line in the charts, everybody's going to start to get that bit bearish again. You're going to have people all of a sudden calling for lower prices, down to maybe 5,000, maybe lower. And don't get me wrong, something like that, it is possible. However, I think it's more likely if we do come down, a move down to around the sort of high sixes, 7,000 would be more likely than coming all the way down to, say, 5.5. But you never know with Bitcoin. You never know. Certainly, I've got a long position. This is not financial advice whatsoever. But I would say that it is still, within this consolidation, is still quite a good place to accumulate. And yeah, we'll keep on watching Bitcoin and monitoring what happens, but very much kind of waiting for this breakout. And once we get that, I think the door will definitely open up to go and retest our all-time highs. So looking good. What else did I want to show you? Just very quickly, touching on gold as well. So gold is also looking very, very strong. I'm very much of the opinion here that we've got a great shot at taking out these highs. I mean, we're pretty much there. This is a really strong weekly close last week for myself. Ever since we saw this sell-off, which was a little bit nervy. As soon as we saw this ascending channel, was resistance, now support, hold as support, I started to get increasingly bullish. And obviously all of the macroeconomic factors are very bullish right now for gold and for Bitcoin as well. So there are two markets that I definitely want to make sure I have some long exposure to, and that kind of brings us on nicely to stocks, because I think stocks are starting to look a little bit shaky here. So yeah, we've kind of come up to a level here which is around the sort of 2930s, 2950s, sort of give or take. I mean, just look at our highs from 2018. We've hit that area as a high once at the end of 2018. We've then hit it again in early 2019. We've then got above it, we've rejected it, we then got above it again, and then we've actually held it as support for our expansion higher, which is, for me, was almost like our sort of blow off move before we then, obviously, the Black Swan event came along, and we're still very much for me, in this bearish posture. And until we can get above this sort of 3,100 and get back above this channel line, for me, I really don't have any interest in stocks right now. And certainly, if we did come up here, I would see this line as a sell, and probably a sell down to the bottom of that channel. So it'd be something like this that I would be targeting, as obviously we're definitely not out of the woods in terms of the economy. However, that being said, I do think we are at a point here where we are starting to break down, and certainly there's a very, very bearish fundamental backdrop. But when the fundamentals and the technicals both start to line up, that's when you can get some really powerful moves. And obviously, we've seen this ascending channel now break down to the downside. We broke through it sort of 3 days ago. We came back up, we retested, we had another attempt lower, bulls stepped in, but they weren't able to make any progress or get us back above that ascending channel, and now obviously we're basing off this as resistance. So it could be that we do sort of come back, bulls try and get us back into this channel, but I'm really favoring a rejection here and move down to around the 2679, 2680 area. That's what I'm targeting over the next 2 to 3 days. I would be surprised if we actually come back in here, but obviously if we do close, say, 2 daily bars back above this channel line, then I will be open to the possibility that we do push on and look to get into the 3000s on the S&P, and maybe we just come and we get a fake out up here, or maybe we carry on to push up to 3100. But certainly I would have thought that we would need a bit more in terms of a fundamental catalyst to get us over this resistance here. Like I say, this is major resistance, and I don't think this as a correction is deep enough. I think we need to correct a bit more of this move in the short term, and then we will very much see what happens. Obviously, a lot of this will depend on what goes on with coronavirus. Potentially, we could come back up. We could look to retest this area of support here, and then we might see something like this. We might even come down to make a new low. I mean, and who's to say it's going to come off this fast? I mean, this move, could run into later on in the summer, could run into August, September. I certainly don't expect this to happen as quick as it did do back in sort of February time. I think this will take a bit longer to play out, but those are my current thoughts. Those are my current thoughts on the markets. Obviously, I'll be interested to see what we do tonight when futures open, and then I'm looking at the next couple of days, and I'm thinking it could either be a bear trap and we reverse and come back into this channel, or we might see this big sort of like expansion day to the downside, which is actually my sort of preferred outcome at the moment, just based on what I'm seeing in the chart. So yeah, that kind of wraps up the update. Certainly, these are my views. None of this is financial advice. But yeah, obviously, if you have bought the dip in stocks and you're sort of happy with some of the gains you made from getting long down here, it might not be the worst idea to look to potentially take some profits off the table, because certainly the economic situation is still not great, and I do think a lot of this buying in here will get corrected, and we will retrace. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And yeah, follow me on eToro, RunProfits. I'm also on Telegram, RunProfits channel. And I'll catch up with you soon. Bye.